Innovation Unplugged from the Alabama Community College System's Innovation Center takes you inside Alabama's workforce development. Join us for enlightening conversations with community leaders and industry experts showcasing experiences, addressing key issues, and celebrating successes in the workforce initiatives across the state.
All right. Welcome back to the Innovation Unplugged podcast. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Brandi Merrill. I am the Director of Curriculum Design for the ACCS Innovation Center. And today I have with us Julie Frizzell, who is the illustrious Executive Director turned Chief Operating Officer for the Innovation Center. Brand new title there. And to my right, to your left, would be Michael Barnette. He is the Dean of Workforce and Economic Development for Central Alabama Community College. So thank y'all for being here today.
Thank you.
Super excited. So normally we kind of start off with, who are you and what do you do? So I'm just going to tell the audience, tell the listeners, Mike and I go back. Matter of fact, we were just talking a minute ago. We go back to 2009 when we first started working together. But I don't want the audience not to realize who you are and kind of how you started. So just kind of even walk us back from 2009. Like what has Mike Barnette's professional career kind of looked like? So the audience will know.
All right. So I was in industry 20 plus years on the paper side. So the company I worked for, we manufactured paper machine clothing. So I've been in paper mills all through the United States, Canada, Mexico. So it's been a journey.
Yeah.
But it's been a good journey.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So then you went into teaching, right?
I went into teaching. The company wanted to move me to Canada, and I didn't make that decision to go. My wife made that decision that we wouldn't go. So
smart man.
Alabama it is.
I know. I know. So from there, I started teaching at Trinum. I was teaching automotive manufacturing technology. Had a background through industry from dealing with and growing up on a farm, so I had a lot of those, general experiences. And it was pretty easy. I, enjoyed it because coming out of industry, everything was so fast that when I got to the school, I was thinking, wow, this is pretty, and I liked it. I thought, well, I'd be there 2 or 3 years and move on. Stayed 10.
Yeah.
Job came open at the system office. I was the assistant director for career and technical education under Natalie English. And so from there, job came open at Central Alabama Community College. I took that job and we hit the ground running.
And the rest is history.
What year was that?
That was 21. So I've been 3.5 years. And George Jefflin is my president. And, we're on the go. We're making sure that we are doing what we need to for industry and then our students.
Y'all got a big territory. Tell us a little bit about the communities and the cities and the counties and the economic impact that CACC makes.
So we have 4 locations, Talladega, Childersburg, Prattville, and of course Ellick City is our home base. We service 7 counties and about 41 high schools.
Wow.
We have a lot of home schools that we service, and then of course on the economic development side, we have a ton of municipalities that reach out to us, and we do the heavy construction and CDLs for that. So we have a lot going on. But it's good.
Yeah. Y'all are constantly, in the news and we see y'all constantly on social media. So y'all must have a pretty strong social media department, marketing department over there.
I think so. We Scott Hardy is our media guy, so he's he's pushing stuff out all the time. But we got a good group of people backing us.
Yeah.
And I think that would be the Innovation Center of Skills for Success.
Wouldn't it?
So how about that? So
Good answer.
For the people in the back.
That would be Skills for Success. So the good thing about that is, we did a lot of non-credit programs throughout the time I've been there, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
Industry calls on, and there's students and incumbent workers that don't want to go the school route.
Right.
So what you guys have presented to us, now we can take it out and, we may have that student wants to do heavy equipment or fiber optics or land surveying.
Sure.
And not go to school. Well, they can do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, well, that's the question that I have, because coming from the background, so Mike and I taught at Trenum State in Montgomery, and I taught ultrasound, program director for 13 years there, and then 5 years at Baptist Medical Center. We were acquired by Trenum after that. But kind of coming from, and you said CTE, so with automotive, we were in the more of the credit side, right, of things.
Right.
And so I think oftentimes I get a lot of questions of what's it like now working on kind of that non-credit side. And I have to be honest, I mean, it's a different trajectory of how to get from point A to point B, but I enjoy the fast paced of start to finish is much quicker. You know, I loved my students, and I loved that process of watching somebody in all those light bulb moments across an 18-month span of a program. But to watch this happen so quickly. So do you feel the same way?
Yeah, I did non-credit programs with industry.
Yeah.
But with this, like I said, now we have a pathway, so we can follow that pathway. It is, and they're calling us every day, which is good. But we talked to a gentleman. He's the ag teacher at Childersburg High School, and one thing he said, well, I've got some students that want to participate, and I said, well, how many do you have? And he said 56. I said, we'll take them.
Yeah.
So,
single.
and okay, so the good thing about that is if they decide to go that construction pathway, where they're there, what if the ones that don't want to come to CACC?
Yeah.
Or one of our sister colleges? I mean, that, we need to keep them in the 2-year system.
Yeah.
So, and it may kind of spark them to go one way or the other. So, but yeah, the non-credit part is pretty fast paced.
It is. And you want to think it's a completely different world, but it's really not. It's just different. It's not accepting applications or, limited space of a program. This is just a wide open. It's like wild, wild west. As many people who want to come and be trained, we're willing to train on. So that's a little bit different perspective.
Yeah, so I'm going to step back a minute. You said you really got into your role at the community college system and the current role for workforce and economic development really at the height of COVID and the impact on workforce due to the pandemic, due to the supplier shortages, transportation issues, you name it. So really, what have you seen coming out of that in your new role at CACC for the non-credit side? Now you're focusing on programs that are short-term training options for employers. Or for those employers to find the workforce that they need. What have you seen has changed since then?
I think a lot of them have realized there's life after COVID. Everybody was kind of holding back a little bit, but now I think that the gates are open. So we're running with it, but there's still a little bit of that. I can't find anybody, and I said, well, who are you looking for? Somebody that can breathe. I mean, that you've got to that point to where. And I think that's turning around. It's taken this long for it to turn around.
Sure,
it hasn't been an easy road, but and there was some workforce issues that we were having, and that was we were meeting with industry, but it was by phone, it was on email. But I think they, of course, they're always at the table, and they want it. They want people, and that's just us. We're expecting we got to put them out. We need to put them out quickly.
So how has that model changed for training that you've seen now that we have Skills for Success and now you have that opportunity for those employers to send someone to training, but it's really they're not losing productivity for as long anymore because they're able to do that training online before they come to their in-person lab. What has the impact been and the feedback you've received from that hybrid model of not spending as much classroom time, but still learning the skills and things that are needed that they're going to be applying in their roles?
Right. Well, I think everything is still on the job training. So what it does is giving them a good perspective of what's going to happen when I get to industry. And they still got a lot to learn, no doubt. I think that, and I know you guys will probably create something like we've got a beginners, now we need an intermediate and an advanced. So I think that's probably coming. I just knowing the group, I feel like it's coming. But that impact's going to be huge because now you've got it's short-term training. We've done it all in the state of Alabama for a long time, and I think now we've just got the community colleges where it should be is doing it.
Yeah,
that's the most important to me.
And y'all have such big partnerships. Like one that came to mind was, and I think it was the governor's initiative last year, was Dovetail Landing. And
Dovetail Landing.
so you hear from industry, you hear from community folks, you mentioned it, municipalities all over the place are calling you guys because you have such a broad footprint in the state. So speak a little bit about Dovetail Landing and just we follow the stories and we've seen the stories and we've had boots on the ground watching it. And it is just, so if you can tell a little bit about what it is and how y'all are meeting that need for that entity.
Well, the city had donated a house to Dovetail Landing. And of course, Alana's great. You need to go and read the story. People who don't know about it, they need to read the story. It is really, it's her son. So the reason it got started. But I mean, and they're fantastic. They are fantastic. So we started out with them doing, they contacted President Lynn, and then we went up, met with them, and we were, of course, immediately we were just on board. It didn't take anything for us to, no, we were on board. We started out, we did skid steer. We just finished up a mini excavator. And then this past Saturday, we ran the land survey.
I saw that.
Which is really cool because, I mean, these are veterans. Now, we're having a lot of people calling us saying, hey, can we come? No, I'm sorry. I mean, we'll have another one for the general public and our students. But these strictly veterans, and, they asked me with the rain coming in, they said, well, what if there's 3 people, we're going to run it. Because to me, it's not about making money. It's not about, it's about getting these veterans trained.
Mm-hmm.
They need that.
Yeah.
My dad was Air Force, so I mean, I've got a special place in my heart for that. So it is good stuff. It is good. They get that certificate. I mean, it's worthwhile.
Yeah. Right. And then they're ready to go.
Oh yeah.
And it just depends on where they want to go and how quickly they want to get there.
And
just empowering them.
Right. And they don't stop. They keep going. I mean, and it's a great group.
That's incredible.
I think I've also noticed their love for learning new things. And I think that's what's been exciting to see so many of them go through the different operations, right? Like the different pieces of equipment or the different skills for success courses that are available. They want to grow their knowledge so that they can grow their skill set. I just love to see their enthusiasm and their, hey, I finished this course, but I'm about to start my next one. And I'm really excited about that. I love reading the stories and hearing all about it.
The first time we did the skid steer, and I said, would y'all want to do Dozier next? And all of them were like, yeah. So, I mean, that's huge.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Love it.
But we're in my groups, we've been fortunate because, we ask them, what do you want to run next? And not a single one of them. And we ran one for one of the high schools, and we had 10, and 9 showed back up for the other one because the other one was going to be out of town.
That's incredible.
So, I mean, they're really on board.
They are eating it up. I love that. And sometimes it's hard to think, well, in the high schools, how do you measure, because we want people to go out and get jobs behind, any of these skills trainings. And what I tell people all the time when they ask, like, well, how do you know that high schoolers are going out and getting jobs after that? But we may not be able to measure that directly at today, like day one after they're done. But what will they do next summer when they're on summer break? Or what will that do when they graduate and they can then go and produce to an employer, hey, I have these 2 certificates. I mean, those are things that down the line, and I know we've all, had the opportunity to do things that we thought, that may not mean anything. But then 5 years later, you're like, whoa, that really was kind of a big deal. That those things build on each other.
Oh,
and then they go out and so they may reap the rewards and the benefits of that training, whether it's an immediate day one or whether it's next summer or the summer after. So those kind of things sometimes are hard to measure. But I think as long as we continue to provide opportunities to those folks.
We're gearing up for construction now. The construction, the construction helper.
Yeah.
Right.
Building construction helper. That's going to be really good.
Yeah. Oh, I bet. Especially up in that area, because you've got the Lake Martin area, which is tourism, which I know Julie wanted to.
I'm going to ask a question about that in a minute, but keep going. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you've got so much construction with Lake Martin up there and all of the businesses in those areas. So speak to that just a little bit.
Well, and, I wrote a grant several years back, and it was building and construction, and we just didn't have a good turnout. But now it was right after COVID, so I think that was the big issue. And now that, because when you guys put stuff out, I send it out immediately, and we've had probably 30 or 40 that are interested.
That's awesome.
So and it is getting bigger. We've lost some masonry people. There's nobody that's really training. The people that are doing it are on the ground right now. Of course, that old thing of we do get some students say, they had never ever read a tape before.
Yeah.
It's what? 2 lines past the half mark? Oh, well, we got to get some training.
Yeah.
But we're doing a lot of that inside in our classes, our 4-credit classes as well, to where we're making sure there's precision measurement and that type of stuff. But it goes along with the building and construction trade.
Absolutely.
So.
That's not the first time we've heard that. Like there's several courses that even with our new water course that's coming, it's almost like that basic math. And it's not because, people didn't at one point know how to do it, but if you don't use that kind of math every day, you lose it. I mean, I couldn't tell you how to divide a fraction. I might could, but I'd have to sit and really think.
The algebra thing would get me.
Yeah. So that's really kind of where we're at with some of these things is like, maybe they learned a tape measure or a ruler measure, I don't know, when it's that 5th or 6th grade, but gosh, if you're all of a sudden a junior or senior in high school, you're like, if you're not applying it practically every day, that's the kind of stuff you lose. So we're hearing a lot of that and are really taking a look at maybe doing some of those just basic things that pick apart different parts of the courses, that kind of support that inside of there.
I think that would be huge, even if we could do something like a construction math.
Put
something, because, we have it embedded in our WKO classes, which I think that would be great. I mean, that is strictly online and come in for the hybrid.
Yeah.
Right. That's a great idea.
Absolutely.
All right. You were able to obtain some funding for some equipment, right? So tell us about that and what an impact that's made for what you can do and how often you can offer courses.
So the first, we have run a lot of skid steer classes. A lot.
I think you'd say we've earned a T-shirt of that, right?
Right.
You're a professional skid steer training entity now.
Yes.
Okay.
So the guys at CACC, some of them I don't know, they wave at me, because
when you start doing Christmas cards and, the obligatory fruitcake at Christmas, then you know you've made it, Mike.
Right. So thank goodness for Linda Williams. She's got patience. She and Gina Wall are great. They're doing a lot of that, the CDL side of it, but the skid steer. So I bought 2 through the grant. And we appreciate the grant funding. Barry May and his crew, we really appreciate that. So we are utilizing them. I've got CACC stickers on them just to know.
All right.
But and I can't even remember what they were. I think they were probably $80,000 a piece.
Yeah.
Well, they've pretty much paid for themselves.
Oh, I bet.
Because I think as far as right now, we've run, I think, around 80.
Dang, 80 skid steers. Life total, probably. Yeah.
So
wow,
it's been really good.
Huge.
Probably one of the best. Well, and now I can use mine. We're about to start skid steer at Earth, which is in Sylacauga.
Yeah.
Since we get that rolling, we'll have somebody call us, and then we'll get Caterpillar to drop 2 more somewhere else. So we're still leasing and renting, but thank goodness we have our own.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Gosh, that's what Margaret Morton.
Yes.
And
Russell.
Drugs. Yep.
Yeah. Working up there. Gosh, they do some great things in Sylacauga.
So we're going to run one there. And, that was, they asked us about running it. And President Lynn's like, absolutely, we'll run it.
Yeah.
Look, give us some time. We'll haul it up there ourselves if we have to.
That's right. I was just thinking how lucky, I guess, is one blessed maybe that you have a president in President Lynn who has a workforce background. So how does that affect knowing that it's like having kids, you love all your kids equally, right?
Right.
And so as a president, you would love all your programs in all your areas equally, but how would that give the workforce, when you have somebody who's been in a workforce mindset, how would that help you in your role?
Well, let's just say he hadn't told me no, but he will say, well, what about this? Kind of give me a few different avenues but there's still been no no's. It's been great having somebody who's been in workforce. in 3 different states. That's huge.
I don't know that I realized that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Georgia, Louisiana, and Alabama.
Wow.
So big workforce guy. The good thing about that is, we go in and we sit and listen to industry. We know what pathway we want to take.
Yeah.
And if we can't do it, we'll tell them we can't do it. But if we can, we'll do everything we can to get them there. So, that's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge.
I was about to say, I mean, President Lynn's support has been amazing. And not only what impact it can have for the Central Alabama community, but across the state. I think he was one of the early onsetters in the idea of the land survey helper course and helping us pull that task force and SMEs together. And what an awesome opportunity that's been to work with that association and really lay that groundwork out for someone who wants to get into the surveying industry. And I think even for our high school programs, that's something no one really had on their radar. But you cannot start a construction project without it being surveyed first.
Right.
So they're so important in helping find the right skilled individuals for that role. So I always remember those first conversations. And I think, Brandi, you went to the meeting for that first one.
Yeah.
Because Mike called. And I was like, I'll be there.
But I love to see, his thoughts and, hey, we've got a great group with ACCS Innovation Center and let's connect you and let's talk this through, and just what an amazing opportunity that's been. I can think even back, Mike, and I know from the kind of the early onset of our hospitality courses and what an impact Central Alabama has been in really helping us lay the groundwork for those. And I think back to literally over 2 years ago now, maybe, Sylacauga High School being the first high school to run our food and beverage course, and how amazing that was. I mean, we had the Birmingham news station come, and then we...
and of course, Julie did great.
Oh, gosh, I'm so nervous. So that was a fun day. We had the cheerleaders and the band out there from the high school, and, the food and consumer science class and the instructor there, and funding that was available through the Birmingham news station was able to help them get some equipment and things for their classroom. And then we ran the course, and it was so fun. And I'll never forget just seeing the excitement on those students. And they came to Sylacauga High School on a Saturday to do that lab day. And it was just really neat. And that was really the start of the food and beverage reach across the state, especially in our high schools. And I just know, like, combining that with us piloting the hotel operations there at Creekside Resort, Creekside Lodge. Sorry,
that was a really
Creekside Dadeville.
That was awesome.
If you haven't been, then you need to go. That's a really quaint.
It is.
That's Brandi's favorite little place.
I love that place.
Now,
I do.
2 of the participants are now there at Elmore County High School teaching. So,
Oh my goodness,
Nice.
fantastic.
that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. Oh, Perry Caton.
Yes,
Perry Caton, who actually was instrumental. So I'm gonna call out Perry Caton, and we might have to highlight her on a social media. But Perry Caton was brought in very early on to the Skills for Success model. She was crucial in the food and beverage component because she was the one who helped us identify Molly and Molly's cookies. And Molly has gone on to be the super rock star cookie decorator and all things. Like, I follow her on social media, and I'm a little bit fangirlish at this point because, I mean, and I saw her at a CACC event, actually, because she was a CACC ambassador. And she literally, so as a student, she was inside the course because she had already succeeded in making cookies. And gosh, I don't know, I could go on and on forever, but Perry Caton was brought in very early on to the process, and CACC and involvement and all of that. She's spectacular.
And they're good.
Yeah.
I tried a few.
Oh, I know. I know. Her cookies are
So
awesome.
talk about the impact of that. I mean, hospitality, Lake Martin, tourism. I mean, everything that I see around the lake right now is just booming.
Yeah.
From the housing and residential to the commercial to the hospitality, resorts and restaurants, and things have really changed over the last, I would say, especially the last 5 years. But what impact does that bring to CACC to say, we have now some courses through the Innovation Center that we can pair up and then show someone that pathway to a culinary program, like how important that is.
Well, that would be our main goal. Our end goal is to start something like that, a culinary or some type of hospitality, which I think there's a possibility. And it's booming. So we're getting ready to run another one. Amy Owens in Prattville. She's getting ready to run. And Prattville's a great place too. They're getting a lot of all the golf courses and everything. So I'm seeing a lot more ask for that. So I'm
great.
hoping that we can kick one off very soon.
And sometimes those things, especially like Martin, and I would assume like on big golf tournament kind of things, that it would be a little bit seasonal.
Right.
So if you need to rapidly train somebody for an event or a short-term 3-month kind of something, that might would be just your Kickstarter enough to kind of get their boots on the ground,
Right.
essentially.
Well, back kind of at that post-COVID, Chris Doggett with Russell Lance
Yeah.
reached out to us, and his problem was he didn't have anybody.
Yeah.
So they were taking, people who were back there washing dishes, which is very important, because if you don't have the dishes, you can't serve. They were moving them up.
Yeah.
So because they had to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which now, that person they'd be a perfect candidate for that program.
Right.
Now they come back and learn the food and beverage side of it.
Absolutely upskill that person. And Chris Doggett, remind me, that's Purcell Farms, right?
No,
No,
that's
Russell Lands. Russell Lands.
Russell Land.
Yeah. But you've got Purcell Farms in your area as well,
We
right?
do.
Yeah.
They had management turnover. I
Did
think
they?
somebody bought them. So I think they still own, but we're actually working to get in there next.
Yeah. Good.
So it'd be a good area to
Yeah.
get to.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And you're asking about equipment. One thing that, of course, we're fortunate to own the skid steers and be able to do what we need with those. But the fiber optics kits, we were getting so many requests for fiber optics that we ended up buying another kit. So we have 2 kits. One
It's great.
is housed in Prattville, and one's housed in Alex City, and we move them. I mean, sometimes it's the 4 of us moving them.
Right.
Because, if the instructor's where he's from, we got to make sure that
He's got everything he needs. Yeah.
Then we just
That's
recently
great.
purchased our land surveying kit. I think y'all have got 3 that
Mhm.
you're able to lend out, which is good, because, there may be a time that we need,
Right.
but we felt like, hey, we can take some of the burden off the other colleges, and we own ours, and we can go when we need to go with it.
That's some great information, because again, our colleges are sister colleges to each other, and
Absolutely.
what one has, the other may not, and can always help offset some of those expenses to
And
borrow
if
equipment.
they needed mine, I wouldn't hesitate
Yeah.
for a small fee. No.
No, you're right, though. We've seen that with a lot of the other programs, too. I know we talked to Eric Sewell and Danielle, and they're sharing some equipment for CDL because CVCC hadn't had that program yet. But we see that across the state, and I think that's a big impact as well, that you may not have what you need, but you can find a way to get it through either the Innovation Center itself or through one of your sister colleges, and what a blessing that is to be able to work together. All right, what's next? Forklift. We haven't talked about forklift and what a difference and an impact that's going to make, Mike.
Forklift's a big topic. There's so many different classes that we just need to make sure. And I think starting with the basic forklift, the ride-on, that's probably the easiest one to start with. And then, I'm sure within the next 3 months, I'll have another one out. The next level.
It is so much faith. So much faith. But yes, it's about 4 months, truly. Yeah.
So, I think that's going to be a big impact, because we have several industries in our area that need them. Actually in the whole region, you've got the distribution centers, and it's a good place to start. Some of my previous forklift training I did, those guys were starting at about $18 an hour. So that's pretty good. Guys and girls.
I saw one of the big box stores when we were first talking about forklift, and then just all the different, I just didn't realize how many different facilities utilize a forklift, and it literally touches every industry. It's incredible, but did not realize how much. And I specifically saw like a big box store. There's also a very large following gas station that is in several parts of the state. Anyway, that what they pay for forklift, forklift operators, just basic, are getting well paid.
They're doing well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And sometimes it's inside, sometimes it's outside. It just kind of depends.
Well, like in the Huntsville, Decatur area, you've got Targets under a little bit under 2 million square feet.
Yeah,
But
my
think
son
about
used to work there.
Yeah.
In the
well,
distribution center.
Yeah.
Yes.
You think about your big Amazons and auto manufacturers and even, like landscape folks. It touches.
Well, with
So many
us,
people.
it's the marinas.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of them are
Yeah.
storage,
Yeah.
so a little bit different forklift.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, you know, you start with the basic. I think that's like kind of what we've done.
Yeah.
Skid steer, Mini X, and Dozier. Start with the basic forklift, and you work your way up.
Yeah.
So I could see y'all at least having 3 to 4 different class forklifts.
Yeah. Some of my favorite people put a boat in the water for me.
Absolutely.
They're some of my favorite people
On a Saturday morning.
Yes, absolutely. They know they see me coming. Hey, Miss Merrill. Love them. They're great.
And it's a cheap process too. I mean, you know.
Yes, absolutely. But they are very well trained, because you start taking, and it would be any product, whether it's manufacturing or, out in a warehouse for boats or whatever. You've got a lot of expensive property that are sitting on those two.
We don't want to drop it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. No, that's going to be a big one. I think there's a lot of people excited about forklift, and we can't wait. It's very close.
Yeah.
Like very, very close. I think within the next couple
Our
of weeks.
DOT houses a lot of forklifts on, from surplus all the way down.
Yeah.
So that's another
That's true.
entity that we need to touch.
Absolutely. Well, what's something that you're hearing from your community that we could put on our list of things to build? Anything?
I think you are. We're getting a big ask for EMS, EMT, that going
Ambulance operator.
ambulance operator. That's going to be huge.
Good.
We have a new person that just came on, Warren Duke. We hired him, and I think we're going to, for the non-credit side.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be a big help for us, because we don't have that, and there is such a shortage.
Right.
We met with one group. I just can't say who it is yet,
Sure.
but they are. I think if you look at the county as a whole, they don't have enough ambulance. They may have enough ambulances, but they don't have enough drivers.
Right. Right.
So I think that's going to be huge.
Well, and that's one thing we learned through this Alabama Ambulance Association working on that, was there's emergency and non-emergency transports that are needed. And you don't want to have all of your emergency drivers tied up for non-emergencies as
Right.
well. And so having good, qualified, skilled staff to make any of those calls and be able to support the community is very important, because there's not as many out there as we hope there to be when an emergency happens.
I guess I knew that. I guess talking to them, I guess I knew there was, but they'll respond to a call that may not require
Right.
any transport at all. And it may not be, not that I'm not, downgrading anybody's, but they may not need an ambulance there. It could be
Right.
just a
Right.
truck and EMT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm thankful we have our first responders that we have.
Sure.
Thank goodness.
We heard some heartwarming stories, in the beginning when we had those beginning discussions about ambulances with the Ambulance Association and others, just about the need and how, especially out in the rural areas where you may have 1 or 2 vehicles that could respond to something, but if they're tied up, you could have somebody sitting, and all of us are sitting here thinking, if we dial 911, we need it right then. Right. And that was, basically those examples that they gave were just gut wrenching, because it's like, gosh, you imagine yourself in that position, and you want to be able to call and get help immediately. And so it was a very heartwarming, I guess, plea, to say we really need the people who can, physically save the lives and are credentialed and skilled to save the lives and have been taught back in the back of that bus. But we need people who are driving that ambulance, who know a lot about the ambulance, who know a little bit about, some life-saving properties and things and some of those theories. But man, let's put the people who are doing the life-saving in the back, and let's have a dedicated driver. And that they said that would help us to be able to do that. And so we said, okay, we'll pick up that torch.
Well, we're working on a grant. We're finished with it, and we're just waiting on we have 2 ambulance simulators coming.
Oh,
So,
perfect.
With the simulators, then it looks like the back of the bus.
Yeah.
So with that coupled with an ambulance
The driving,
program, we're hopeful
That's perfect.
I've never
I'd
thought.
love to drive one myself.
I know. I've never thought about this question, but if you at a college didn't have a program, so let's say, and you guys don't have, well, you said don't have EMT, don't have EMS.
No.
Would the recruiting that an ambulance operator course provide you almost give you a better stance to begin certain programs? Because
Sure.
then it's not like you're having to go out and recruit people, because you've already got kind of a main line of individuals. And I
Right.
never really thought about that, how that would make an AIC request, right, for starting programs maybe a little easier and that kind of thing. I hadn't thought about that.
They're already in place, so
Yeah.
that
Right.
makes sense. I mean, and who is either driving an ambulance or in the back of that bus might decide, I think I might go into nursing.
Yeah,
So there's that pathway.
So
absolutely.
many
I
different
think it's good.
programs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I think that's our next one where we'd like to.
Well, we just finished the
See.
pilot with it. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we've got a couple little tweaks to make,
Mhm.
which really is, kind of the crux of a lot of what we do is just making sure it's just right before it goes out statewide. And we did that with y'all's hotel op
Yep.
course as well. And, so really kind of testing that model, making sure it works, making sure it's just right, copywriting it and sending it out and deploying it statewide. It's fun to watch. But yeah, it's very close, very, very close to going statewide.
Y'all have had a good canvas to work with.
Yeah.
All 24 colleges. So,
Yeah,
Oh, no doubt.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
absolutely.
We're proud to be involved at Central Alabama Community College.
Yes, sir.
Good job. Good job.
All right. We kind of do wrap up most of our segments, most Innovation Unplugged, with what's next. But I already asked that. So let me ask you this question. What do you see, and I'll steal this from Houston because this is a Houston question, so he's not here, but 5 years down the road, you and President Lynn are heading down the road to meet an industry individual or something. And it's a cheers to the last 5 years. What do you want to see 5 years from now, the workforce department at CACC be able to do?
Better than when I started with it. I mean, I'd love, and that's probably a canned answer when everybody says, I want to make it better when I leave. I think bigger and better, just to make sure that we're providing our community, our 7 counties and 41 high schools with everything that we can.
Mm-hmm.
Because in 5 years, there's no telling where I'm going to be in 5 years. No, I love it. I think I'll work until they tell me to go home.
Oh.
But I really do think that as long as we're still providing and still have that outreach and industry request and the students, and we're providing that, that's where we're good.
Yeah.
And if we grow, we grow. And if we don't, we stay right there as long as we're servicing the groups that are coming in.
There you go.
We're
Absolutely.
good.
I'll tell you, Julie, anytime if you ever find yourself at a college graduation and you're sitting next to Mike, you're in a good spot.
Oh,
He was always my go-to resource to sit
Uh-huh.
next to during graduation. He makes it fun. So I have no doubt that he makes things fun at CACC. And that's why he and his team are successful. And shout out to your team, because you're right. They do a spectacular job over there of supporting, and they're just sweet people. So you're a lucky man.
And anytime you're in the area, you need somewhere to land, let us know. Come see us.
We got a landing spot.
Absolutely.
I love that. No, we do appreciate everything that y'all have done and the progress that you've made in just opening up your doors to individuals to say, hey, we've got training. What do you need? Here it is. Let me figure out how to help you and how to help you get into a program and find some skills to get a job. So I love to see Mike's enthusiasm. Every time we talk to Mike, you always have a smile on your face and always willing to go the extra mile and figure out how to make something work or how to meet a need or ask a question. Mike's never afraid to pick up the phone and call any one of us in the Innovation Center team. And I love that. I think we've built that relationship over the years to say, hey, we're here for you. I love Mike thinks outside of the box sometimes, and that obviously shows in the impact that they've had in the community. But again, we appreciate what you've done through workforce development in Central Alabama, and we appreciate President Lynn's support as well, and look forward to many years to come of rolling out Skills for Success programs and how we can support.
Vice versa too, because if it weren't for you guys, I mean, we may still be struggling with, well, what are we going to offer?
Right.
So now those are coming and they keep coming.
That's right.
So that's
And
good.
bring the ideas, bring the community partners you have and any needs that they have. And we'd love to sit down and talk more about where have we not touched yet in the industry.
Yeah.
Like, what are we missing? Where can we do some further trainings, or like you said, more advanced levels for some of the things that we've rolled out? So.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that. I think we're closing in on 40 courses right now. 40 in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, it has been
It's huge.
a sprint and a marathon, and just the greatest challenge of all the things that we've put these processes in place. But we ultimately, I love hearing you say, y'all kind of come in and support, because that is 100% what we want to be.
Right.
Right.
We just want to be that support. Like, what do you need? If we need to build this, we'll build it. And then that way, y'all are the ones who are going out and servicing the community.
Right.
We're just in the background. We're like the best supporting actor or actress. Y'all are the stars, and we're just the supporting roles.
Well, I
So
don't know.
we
We're
love
the-
that. So
That's why I feel like I can pick up the phone and call y'all.
That's right.
So
Good.
That's good stuff.
that's where we want to be. That's
it.
our sweet spot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, we appreciate you being here today. Thanks again for everything that you're doing there at Central Alabama Community College and the support you give to those 7 counties in your region. So thanks again.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone, for tuning in today for Innovation Unplugged. We were excited to have you join. Please join our next episode, and don't forget to like, share, follow, subscribe, all those wonderful things on all the platforms. Thanks so much. Have a good day.